Have you ever wondered how a city could transform from a stretch of desert without even electricity into one of the most luxurious metropolises on Earth, all in just a few decades? It sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, but Dubai actually pulled it off. 70 years ago, there was no electricity, no running water, not even a written legal code today. The world's wealthiest flock here to buy property, vacation, and do business. So what exactly happened to this tiny fishing village tucked deep in the Arabian desert that allowed it to undergo such an unbelievable transformation in less than a century? Is this a genuine economic miracle or a carefully packaged desert illusion? A mirage built on sand dunes? Today, let's dig into the real story behind Dubai's rise. Before we get started, a quick note: everything discussed today is based on publicly available information and personal analysis. It is purely for knowledge-sharing purposes and does not constitute any investment advice. Take it for what it is, and let's dive in. The story begins over 120 years ago. In the early 20th century, Dubai was essentially a small village of about 10,000 people on the edge of the Persian Gulf, scraping by. The divers worked under absolutely miserable conditions. Many were forced into this dangerous trade, armed with nothing more than a cloth sack, a nose clip, and a stone tied to their legs to drag them to the seabed. As primitive as this method was, the pearls they hauled up became coveted luxury items among the upper classes of Europe, India, and North America. As the pearl trade boomed, Dubai's entire economic lifeline came to hang on this single thread. But the good times didn't last. In 1929, the Great Depression hit. The wealthy tightened their belts. Who was buying pearls? Demand plummeted off a cliff, and Dubai's economy was instantly knocked back to square one. To make matters worse, Japanese researchers chose precisely this moment to develop cultured pearls. Virtually identical in appearance to natural ones, but far cheaper. Artificial pearls flooded the market and effectively buried Dubai's and the world's natural pearl industry. This devastating blow taught Dubai a lesson it would never forget: never put all your eggs in one basket. After the pearl era came to an end, Dubai began searching for a new path forward. As early as the beginning of the 20th century, the local sheikh had already started positioning Dubai as a duty-free trading port on the Persian Gulf. It was a shrewd move. Combined with Dubai's close ties to Britain and the steadily rising taxes at Persian port cities, droves of Persian merchants simply relocated their businesses to Dubai. But stability remained elusive. Another world war disrupted global trade, and Dubai even clashed with neighboring Abu Dhabi in armed border conflicts. This turbulence persisted well into the 1950s. Before that point, the Western world knew virtually nothing about this corner of the Persian Gulf. The local population lived in undeveloped wilderness, without modern technology or much formal education. The turning point came in the 50s. The West was riding the post-war economic boom. Industrial machines were running at full tilt, and the thirst for oil was growing by the day. People quickly realized that enormous treasure might lie beneath the Persian Gulf sands. In 1950, oil exploration teams moved into the desert south of Dubai, and British geologists and drilling crews got to work without delay. But the results were disheartening. After 13 straight years of drilling, they hadn't found a single drop of oil. Meanwhile, neighboring Abu Dhabi had discovered massive oil reserves 7 years earlier. Dubai looked like a barren wasteland forgotten by God. The British exploration company eventually lost patience and packed up. Most people would have written off further exploration as a waste of money. But Dubai's leader at the time, Sheikh Rashid, was not one to give up easily. He gritted his teeth and kept pouring money into oil exploration. In 1966, 3 years after the British departed, fate finally rewarded Dubai. 15 miles offshore, the drill bit finally struck oil. Just 3 years later, in September 1969, Dubai completed its first crude oil export. The discovery of oil was like a bolt of lightning. 2 years after that, in 1971, Britain withdrew entirely from the Persian Gulf, leaving these Gulf states to fend for themselves. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and 5 other emirates decided to band together and form the United Arab Emirates. Bahrain and Qatar had considered joining as well, but disputes between them and a desire for independence led them to go it alone. Even after the UAE was established, tensions between Abu Dhabi and Dubai never fully dissolved, which ironically gave Dubai considerable autonomy in many of its affairs. Now part of a new nation and flush with oil revenue, Dubai entered a golden age of development. Over the 2 decades from the 1960s to the 1980s, Dubai's urban footprint expanded 16-fold, and its population surged from 60,000 to 276,000, nearly a 5-fold increase. Dubai sat on 4 billion barrels of oil reserves. While that represented only 4% of the UAE's total, the rest was almost entirely in Abu Dhabi. It was still a substantial sum. By 1975, oil accounted for 57%, but Sheikh Rashid knew full well that oil couldn't sustain this city forever. There is a widely quoted saying in the Middle East that captures this perfectly. My grandfather rode a camel. My father rode a camel. I drive a Mercedes. My son drives a Land Rover. His son will drive a Land Rover, but his grandson will probably be. The exact origin of this quote is debated, but the sense of urgency behind it rings just as true today. Perhaps with the painful memory of the pearl industry's collapse still fresh, Dubai began planning a massive economic transformation, a complete break from oil dependency. This path was fraught with risk because oil is a double-edged sword for producing nations. Wielded well, it is a fountain of wealth. Wielded poorly, it becomes a resource curse. In 1979, Sheikh Rashid unveiled a plan that seemed almost insane at the time. Dubai's population was only 236,000, yet he decided to invest heavily in infrastructure, building roads, factories, and ports at a frenetic pace, with the goal of having these facilities serve the city for the next 50 years. He erected the Dubai World Trade Center in the middle of empty desert, Dubai's first true commercial landmark. He also ordered the construction of Jebel Ali Port, the world's largest man-made harbor, which in one stroke cemented Dubai's position as the Middle East's logistics and trade hub. In the decades that followed, Dubai's construction never let up. The Dubai Aluminium Smelter and Dubai Dry Docks were completed in succession, along with the sail-shaped Burj Al Arab Hotel that has become synonymous with Dubai's identity. The founding of Emirates Airlines in 1985 opened a gateway to the world for Dubai's tourism and business ambitions. In hindsight, Sheikh Rashid's seemingly reckless bets on infrastructure were precisely the key moves that put Dubai on the world stage. It was these forward-looking investments that allowed Dubai to break free from the cookie-cutter development model of oil-rich states, with ports, industry, and aviation firing on all cylinders to power the economic engine. Entering the 21st century, Dubai continued to go all in on free trade, infrastructure, and tourism. In 2001, construction began on Palm Jumeirah, one of the world's largest artificial islands. In 2004, work started on the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, which officially opened in 2010. In 2008, the Dubai Mall, the second largest in the world by total area, opened its doors to the public. But hardware alone wasn't enough. Dubai also wanted to attract the brightest minds from around the globe. Low taxes were the first step. Tolerance of different faiths was the second. A relaxed attitude toward alcohol, pork, and other things strictly prohibited in most Middle East. This combination of policies drew a flood of foreign talent, and today 88% of Dubai's population is made up of expatriates. On the tourism front, Dubai aggressively expanded its international airport and Emirates' route network. Thanks to its unrivaled geographic position, 50% of the world's population lives within a 7-hour flight. Dubai has become a super hub connecting Europe, Asia, and Africa. Last year, Dubai's airport handled over 85 million passengers, firmly holding its title as the world's busiest international airport. That massive flow of travelers naturally translates into impressive tourist numbers. In 2023, Dubai welcomed more than 17 million visitors. However, this dazzling transformation has not been without its dark side. Dubai didn't formally abolish slavery until 1963, and throughout its construction boom, the treatment of laborers has drawn persistent international criticism. Every year, hundreds or even thousands of foreign workers in the UAE are reported to have died from heart attacks or natural causes, and labor rights remain a cloud hanging over Dubai's reputation. In recent years, challenges such as a severely imbalanced population structure and the threats posed by climate change have also been mounting. From the outside, Dubai gleams like a perfect city, but look beneath the surface and the problems are far from few. Even so, by embracing trade, welcoming cultural diversity, and having the audacity to bet big, Dubai has successfully reinvented itself as the Middle East's first non-oil-driven economy. Today, oil contributes less than 5% of Dubai's GDP, a drop of over 50 percentage points compared to the oil discovery era. Those seemingly risky investments from the 1950s through the 1970s paved the way for Dubai to strike oil and become the region's premier trading port. In the short term, Dubai's effort to break free from oil dependency has undeniably been a success. But whether it has truly escaped the resource curse and can continue to thrive for the next 100 years, it is still too early to say. An 88% expatriate population, a foreign labor force with no path to citizenship. These structural vulnerabilities could erupt at any point in the future. Time will tell at the end of the day. Perhaps the greatest lesson from Dubai's story is this: true wealth is never dug out of the ground. It is dreamed up in the mind. A city that dares to build a port in the desert and raise skyscrapers in the wilderness doesn't get there by luck. It gets there through vision and courage. If you found today's content interesting and want to see more videos about the stories behind cities, economies, and money, don't forget to hit subscribe. See you next time.